Hello everyone, I'm Fozzie, or Cam, and I'm here as always with my co-host Will. How you doing today, Will?
Doing great, Cam. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. So we have a lot of cool things to talk about today. Breaking-ish news that happened today. Just a few hours ago, Damian Lillard was traded to the Bucks. So we'll talk about that. Will has seen episode 7 of Ahsoka, which I haven't got a chance to see yet. It came out today at the date of us recording this episode, and I plan on watching it after we record this episode. We have to talk about this last week of the NFL. I just saw the movie A Haunting in Venice that we'll have to talk about. The new Wes Anderson short film, and then we're gonna talk some music too. So we have a really full schedule today, and we have a lot of cool things to talk about with you guys. So yeah, let's just get started with Damian Lillard getting traded to the Bucks. I think, as you said, I agree with what you said before the show, Will, that you think it's good for the NBA, and I agree. I think it'll make the Bucks a much more fun team to watch. So yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm glad we get to see Damian Lillard play this season. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this goes down. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, I think that for the NBA, from an entertainment standpoint, this is a great thing to have happen. The league is better when Damian Lillard is out there and on the court because he's just that spectacular of a
Yeah.
player. I just want to say how happy I am for him. He showed so much loyalty to Portland over the years. Could have asked for this trade years back, but he didn't do it. He stuck with them through some really down years. So I'm just so incredibly happy for him that he's going to get a chance to go and compete for a title because there's really no superstar in the league I can think of who deserves that more than him after the time he gave to Portland. So just as a decent human being, I'm just so happy for him
Yeah.
about this. But who, as a Warriors fan and you as a Celtics
Yeah.
fan, oh boy, from that standpoint, the Bucks have just put the entire league on notice, and all of the teams that were talked about in title contention, the the Celtics, the Suns. I mean, I have fears about my team going into this season, but I
Yeah,
think, but
same.
I think, but I think they should at least be. I think the Warriors should at least be given a chance. Quick side note, but here's why I at least think the
Yeah.
Warriors should be given a chance. Here's my take. So 2 seasons ago, when the Warriors won their last title, no one saw that coming. No one, not even myself. No one saw that title coming, but they go out there, win the title, surprise the whole world. The reason I want to at least give them a chance to win the title this season is I don't want to do the thing we did 2 seasons ago, where we write them off, say the dynasty's over, say they can't win the title, and then have them go out there and surprise us just like they did 2 seasons ago. So the reason I'm giving them a chance is because I don't want to do the thing that we did 2 seasons ago
Yeah.
and have them win the title and be like, oh, we should have seen that coming all along. So that's why I'm at least giving them a chance. But anyway, back to what I was saying before. For teams that are in title contention, like the Suns or like the Suns and the Celtics and like the Warriors will try to be all of those teams, their paths to a title just got harder. And you could make an argument that they got significantly harder. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard, you want to talk about a dynamic duo? Wow. So I mean, obviously the Bucks did have to give up Drew Holiday in this. Phoenix gave up DeAndre Ayton in this,
Yeah.
but I think this is great for the NBA from an entertainment standpoint. I'm so happy for Damian Lillard. He totally deserves this, but boy, for all the title contenders out there, all of their jobs just got
Yeah.
harder,
A
and you
lot
could make the
harder.
argument a lot harder today because the Bucks are coming and they're making it clear that their time is now.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, I think good for Damian Lillard, but I am worried for my team, the Celtics, going into the season now. But like I said before, it'll still be really entertaining to watch how this goes down. And yeah, I'd like to see the chemistry Damien has with the other players on the Bucks. So it'll be interesting to see. Um, but up next on our list, we have Ahsoka Episode 7. Will, haven't had a chance to watch it. Have we talked about Episode 6 on the show? If not, I just want to go over that real quick.
We boy, have we?
I don't.
Actually, no, I
No,
don't
yeah.
think we did. So yeah, fire away, Ezra and Thrawn in live action.
Yeah, so I think I texted you right after I watched it.
Yeah,
I was extremely happy seeing, because I've said it quite a few times on the podcast. I am a huge fan of Star Wars Rebels, and
same.
I remember being in, I don't know, third or fourth grade, and watching the end the season 4 finale of Star Wars Rebels, and being like, oh, I wonder if they're ever gonna find Ezra in like third or fourth grade. I was really young. I was, oh, I wonder if they're gonna find Ezra. I wonder if they're gonna do anything with that. Then as time went on, I'd check in, see if they were working on a Rebels spin-off show or anything really. Um, and then as it went on, I was like, oh, they never bring Ezra Bridger back into an animated show. Never, him being in a live action show hadn't even crossed my mind, you know? So I just thought it was a great show. I don't think we'll ever see it again. And then we got Ahsoka. Then we got some plot details, and oh my goodness. We got Ezra Bridger in live action. And well, I'll get the Thrawn after, but Ezra Bridger in live action. It's so awesome to see, and I can't wait to see more of him in Episode 7. I am so thrilled to see him. I don't know who he's played by, but from what I saw, he did a really good job playing Ezra. So yeah, really, really happy to see him again. Excited to see what he does in Episode 7. And now on to Thrawn. Oh my goodness. I actually might have even been looking forward to seeing Thrawn more than I was looking forward to seeing Ezra. Just because how menacing of a character Thrawn is. He's like, I don't know, probably one of the most menacing Star Wars characters. One could actually make the argument that, all right, I'm not maybe not that he's more menacing, but he's a better overall character than Palpatine.
Mm.
Because Palpatine, we kind of just see him as this just looming figure who controls everything. He sees everything, knows it all. But Thrawn, we can see him breaking it down. He never loses his cool. Even when he was sent to another planet on a Star Destroyer with Ezra Bridger and a bunch of space whales, he didn't really lose his cool. I mean, I guess he did in the show, but like, look at him in the episode 6 of Ahsoka. He completely he basically runs the planet now. Ezra had to escape from him. He just took it over. And I think he's just a better character, is more fleshed out than Palpatine.
Mm.
And he's just so menacing. I'm so glad they got his voice actor to play him. Well, I was just so thrilled to see him, and I can't wait to see what he does in episode 7. Will, what were your thoughts on episode 6 and 7?
Yeah, so quickly just on your Thrawn versus Palpatine thing. The reason that I'm not gonna put Thrawn over Palpatine, look, I completely understand, certain people, making the argument that what makes Thrawn such a great villain is that he's not in action and he's just the brains and he's two steps ahead of people and that is what's appealing about his villain. But with Palpatine, he's 2 to 3 steps ahead of everybody, and you get to see him in action with the
That's
lightning
true,
stuff
yeah.
that comes off of his hands, and he's so menacing with that. So the reason that I'm going to put Palpatine over Thrawn is because we get the mixture of 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 him being really smart and getting to see him in action and actually being horrified of him. Grand Admiral Thrawn, I haven't really seen fight, so I want to see what he would look like in that sort of
Yeah.
scenario. So that's why I put Palpatine above Thrawn, because we get the mixture of him being in action and being really smart and being 2 to 3 steps ahead of people. So that's why I would put Palpatine over Thrawn. But now specifically focusing on episode 6, I thought episode 6 was fantastic. We've been so, Star Wars has been in our lives. Well, not our lives because
Yeah.
we were born in the 2000s, but Star Wars has been around since 1977. That's when the original movie A New Hope came out, and it is so, and I say this with Marvel too. Both of Star Wars and Marvel have been in our lives for so long now. And when they've been in our lives for so long, it's nice to bring in new things and introduce new places and new people and new concepts that we haven't seen before. So
Yeah.
for Star Wars to introduce this entirely new galaxy on screen that's never been shown before in Star Wars, I thought that was such a great idea on their part, because I think when Star Wars has been around for so long, new, fresh concepts are a great thing to bring out. So I love how they did that in episode 6, and now obviously continuing forward
Yeah.
in other episodes too, but introducing this galaxy that we've never seen before. I thought that was a great move on their part, because it just keeps things feeling fresh. And at Ezra, I was alarmed by his look the first time that I saw him, because he does not have a beard in Rebels back when he was just a kid. But hey, look, I do understand that he's been out stranded in that
Yeah.
galaxy for a long time, so it makes sense how he wouldn't look quite right. So even though I was a bit alarmed by his look, I could understand why they did it that way, and I believe it's Amonis Esfandi. I don't know exactly how to pronounce his name, but the actor who plays him, I thought did a very good job. That
Felt
did
like
feel like,
Ezra. It just felt like it
yes,
was
it did
Ezra.
feel like Ezra. I agree. And Thrawn, tell me if you saw this, but for some reason his voice sounded a little less menacing to me in live action than it did in animation. Maybe that's just me, but I thought his voice sounded a little bit off. But still, it was great to see him in live action, and his entrance as he came walking out through those, I don't know what type of stormtroopers those are exactly, but the whole Thrawn entrance I thought was just fantastic.
Yeah. So on that thing, what you just said about Thrawn, I did see what you're saying. I didn't think it affected my enjoyment of seeing Thrawn
Right.
again. I still think he's a menacing character, and I think he was just awesome. Thing I thought, I did notice it. His voice was like quiet. I think that's what it was. I think I just noticed how his voice was quieter, and Thrawn's voice actor doesn't exactly look like Thrawn from Rebels. So that's probably part of it. He was oddly quiet for some reason. Could have just been the actor. Could have just been how he was directed and told to act, which would make sense because Thrawn is a calm character, you know. But either way, I didn't distract me too much from my enjoyment of Thrawn. Well, I did notice it though, and it didn't really affect my enjoyment though. But episode 7, what were your thoughts? With
Yeah, so
spoiler free.
yeah. Oh, of course. A non-spoiler review of episode 7. I thought episode 7 did a great job giving you enough to walk away satisfied with the quality of the episode, while also being able to save the best for next week. I
Yeah.
think, I think it's tough when shows have a great penultimate episode, but then the finale kind of, you feel like they fell a bit short, and they
Every single Marvel show that's pretty much been released.
well, yeah, I
Even
mean,
WandaVision.
especially their most
Oh boy.
WandaVision. WandaVision. I'm not sure if I agree with you on that one, but but like their shows last year, and for instance, Secret Invasion, I do agree with, because even though I still feel like Secret Invasion overall was a return to form for the MCU on the small screen, I have said that I thought the last two episodes were a drop off in quality compared to episodes 2, 3, and 4. But anyway, I think it's tough when you feel like a show, saved its best for the penultimate episode, but
Yeah.
then couldn't pull through with the finale. I thought Ahsoka did a great job giving you enough to be satisfied with in episode 7, but also saving the best for last and setting up what should be an epic finale. So that's why I was impressed with episode 7. I was impressed with how it gave enough for you to be satisfied with, but saved the best for last.
Yeah. So that's good to hear. I'm excited to see episode 7, and that makes me even more excited for the finale of Ahsoka. Um, so yeah, really excited to see this, and I'll definitely let you know my thoughts right after I watch it. Um, but yeah, that's good to hear. And I think we both agree that we are just loving Ahsoka. I mean, it's just such an awesome show.
Yeah, as I said, I think last week, it's now officially in my number 2 slot behind in Star Wars live action shows behind The Mandalorian, and I know you have it at number 1. And do you
Yeah.
still stand on that? You think this is the best piece of Star Wars content since The Force Awakens?
Yeah, I do. Um, maybe it's close with Mandalorian season 1, because that is a really good season of television. I mean, I really like Mando season 1. The season 2 is good too. It's just a kind of little bit of a decline. Season 3 say. Um, I just didn't love season 3. It didn't really do much for me. It was fun enough, I guess, but I just had a lot more. I enjoyed watching Ahsoka a lot more, and probably it might adjust depending on if we get an Ahsoka season 2, which we probably won't. But if we do, then I might. And if it's not a great season 2, then I might have to change up my ranking. But right now, yeah, it's still number 1. So next on our list today is The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, a short film directed by my favorite director, Wes Anderson. I was looking forward to this movie for a while, and I loved it. The length didn't bother me. Um, it's so interesting how he does it. I don't want to spoil it. I just loved how he did it. How it was written, which was clever. I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but it was fantastic. It was so funny. It was obviously the cinematography was beautiful. It kind of felt like a play almost. It was fantastic. But what before I hear your thoughts on, well, how your expectations for it, I just want to read this review um, I saw for The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. This is spoiler free, and it's a long review, so I'm just gonna kind of read some parts I see here. First off, this reviewer starts off the review by saying that Wes Anderson is possibly the most overrated individual in all of cinema. He just kicks off the
Whoa,
review, just starts off the review like
talk
that.
talk about a hot take.
That is a very hot take. And then oh boy, he says Anderson butchers this great story in a way that even I couldn't have predicted. That's what he says, which is far from the truth. But then again, I haven't read the original story, but I still can't even believe that's true. Well, you'll see. Um, a truly awful but utterly predictable hatchet job from Wes Anderson. Get a copy of the book and spare yourself from the self-indulgent film, which
Whoa.
I couldn't disagree more with. That's just ridiculous. That sounds like this guy just wants attention. I don't know what he like. How could you even hate on this movie, Will? I loved it so much. Um, but before you watch it, Will, what are your thoughts going into it?
I mean, hearing how much you enjoyed it definitely definitely has me very excited. My only fear is that I'll have some of my same critiques that I had with Asteroid City. If this is the type of phase that Wes Anderson is in right now, I felt like Asteroid City was a bit more about the visual experience and the character experience, and I thought it was confusing and a little hard to follow at times. So my only fear is that I'll have the same some of the same critiques that I had with Asteroid City. But hearing how much you enjoyed it, I'm definitely
Yeah,
excited to check it out tonight.
So for Asteroid City, I was also confused. It didn't really impact my enjoyment because I still love Asteroid City. Um, but I know what you mean when you say it's confusing. I I really didn't think this was. I thought this was just a fun story, and it's narrated the whole time. You know what's going on. It's hilarious. It's a really cool family short film, I guess, by Wes Anderson. I had a blast watching it. I really did. The acting's phenomenal. Benedict Cumberbatch, he's perfect. He's perfect for Wes Anderson. Really, I mean, I think you'll thoroughly enjoy this movie. Will.
That's
Um,
awesome. And let me ask you this: would you like to see Wes Anderson and Benedict Cumberbatch do another collaboration together sometime in the future?
I would. I really would. Once again, though, no Bill Murray.
I need to do some research into that. Like, wow.
So Ast- I kind Asteroid City obviously was explained. He was out for COVID. He had a role planned. They even shot that extra thing with him once he was
Yeah.
recovered. Um, but for this, the only real reason I could see is because it's a short film. The cast is like really small. They shot for 2 weeks. Maybe he was busy filming something else. Wes actually said himself at a panel he was doing after the premiere. He said they shot this for 2 weeks. Actually, it might have been four. It was 2 or 4 weeks. So that definitely could have been a factor. It also could have been that like I said, some of the cast plays multiple characters in the story. Because like I said, it's a small cast, so that could be a factor. But yeah, I definitely want to look deeper into it just to make sure there isn't any beef between those two, which I strongly doubt there is. But yeah, I'd just like to hear what's going on there. If there's anything going on at all.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe it does have something to do with it being a short film and not a movie, but
Yeah.
I can't assume Wes Anderson and Bill Murray didn't at least talk about Bill possibly being involved in this. So
Yeah.
I hope some information comes out about that. And please, Bill Murray, whatever Wes Anderson's next movie is, please be in it because two in a row. That's not common for a
I
man
know.
who has appeared in every Wes Anderson movie before that. Correct?
Yeah, all except for Bottle Rocket, which was his first movie.
Okay.
So yeah, odd, but kinda not completely insane, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, Next on our list here, we have A Haunting in Venice. I'm just gonna briefly go over this. I saw it in the theater the other day. It's part of the Hercule Poirot, Agatha Christie movie franchise. The previous two were Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile. They're both mystery films, and I really enjoyed them. I think I like Death on the Nile a bit more than Murder on the Orient Express, and they're each one has a star-studded cast. Johnny Depp's in the first one, Gal Gadot's in the second, and in this one we had Michelle Yeoh from or is it Yeoh or Yao from Everything Everywhere All at Once. She was in this along with Tina Fey, who's mostly a comedic actor, and she was fantastic. Obviously, Kenneth Branagh as Hercule Poirot, and he's also the director. And he also directed Thor. Um, was in this movie. He's fantastic as always as Hercule Poirot. Great mystery, and Haunting in Venice actually had a more of a horror element, and it also had a mystery element, which was really intriguing, and how it all went down was really cool. But overall, I really enjoyed this. I thought this was a really effective PG-13 horror movie, which is rare because I found with PG-13 horror movies they're really kind of tame, except for maybe Insidious. And I haven't seen The Sixth Sense, so I hear that's a pretty scary movie. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed Haunting in Venice. Thought it was a cool horror mystery movie, and I'm can't wait for the next. Well, I assume there will be another Hercule Poirot movie. So yeah, if there is another, I will definitely be in the theater to see it, and I highly recommend it if you're into watching a horror mystery movie.
Cool. That's awesome. What would you give it on a scale of 0 to 10?
Let's see. I'd probably land it around the 7 range. Just a fun time, you know?
Nice. Very cool.
But yeah, next on the list, we have the last week of the NFL. And before we really dive into it, I just wanna I just want to tell you something, Will. So I do fantasy
Okay.
football. I do fantasy football,
Yeah.
and I'm in a league. I'm currently in first place in my league. Just wanted to let you know.
Awesome.
But yes, I am in first place. Um, so I did end up winning this week, but well, let me explain how fantasy works, because some people might not know.
Okay.
Every week, well, you draft a bunch of players, all offense. You don't draft defensive players. You draft a team's defense, an overall team's defense, not just individual players, for the defense. And then you draft players for each position off different teams. Like my quarterback is Patrick Mahomes, my wide receivers Devontae Adams and Tyler Lockett. Then my running backs are Christian McCaffrey, James Conner, and yeah, so on. And you each week, and you play you play each week. You do a draft before, and they gather an amount of points based off how many yards they get, how many receiving yards they get, touchdowns, all that. Um, so yeah, it's a whole lot of fun. Um, but this week, like I said, I won. This week, I stayed with my usual starting lineup: Christian McCaffrey and James Conner at running back. But here's the thing: I had like usual, I had my backup running back Raheem Mostert on the bench, and the Dolphins scored 70 points, and Raheem Mostert had 45 points in fantasy, and he was on my bench. I don't think I've actually ever had a player in fantasy score 45 points, and he was on my bench. If I lost, I would be screaming right now. But I won. I ended up winning. Thank goodness. But he was on my bench.
Wow.
You could have never predicted Raheem Mostert would have scored 45 points in fantasy. Um, but he did, yeah. And I think
And nothing against the Miami Dolphins, but I don't think anybody saw 70 points coming.
no.
I mean, that Denver has not been that impressive so far this season, but 70 points, I mean, wow. I just have to bow down. I mean, amazing.
I agree. I mean, I was super impressed. I probably would have actually lost if Devontae Adams had gotten me 42 points in fantasy, which was fantastic, and I really appreciate that, Devontae Adams, because we know he's an avid viewer of the Everything podcast. He's probably watching it right now. Um, but yeah, that was ridiculous. I can't believe that happened, and I probably won't even start Raheem Mostert again this week because he's probably not going to score 45 points again. But Will, what are your thoughts on last week of the NFL?
The Dallas Cowboys continue to be exactly who we know them to be. That was embarrassing. I mean, I just don't even know what to say. I mean, Stephen A. Smith, what can go wrong will go wrong. He's right. I mean, it is just hilarious to me how this just continues to happen. I know they had the Trayvon Diggs injury, and I hope he gets better soon. You know, we never want to see injuries in any sport, but if you're this incredible defense and you're a Super Bowl contender, one player going down should not impact that, especially when you have a defense with Micah Parsons and Stephon Gilmore, who people rave about. You're the Dallas Cowboys. You're 2-0. You're considered a Super Bowl contender. There's everything about, oh, there's just a different feel around Dallas this season than in seasons past. And then you go out there and you lose to the Arizona Cardinals, and you don't just lose by a few points. Oh, no, 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 no. 28-16. That is just embarrassing. This is who the Dallas Cowboys are. I'm sorry. Until they prove me wrong, I will never be able to give them a pass and say that's just a loss after games like this. No, 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 no. Not when the Dallas Cowboys consistently have Super Bowl expectations and go out in either the wild card round or the divisional rounds when they're considered Super Bowl contenders. Oh no, 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 no. I am not letting them off the hook for this. Just an embarrassing loss for the Dallas Cowboys, and they continue to be exactly who we know them to be and exactly why we love to troll them. I mean, America's team, and you go out and you lose like that. Just pathetic, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And if we have time here, actually, no, we don't have time. But yeah, I thought this was a really interesting week of the NFL. Like I said, the Dolphins shocking the world. Really crazy to see. Um, our Patriots pull out the win. Thank goodness.
I'm just happy that we got the win. Down
Yeah,
0-2, I'm just happy that we got the win. And if we're gonna be a playoff team this season, the Jets are a team that we have to beat, especially with
definitely.
that Zach Wilson. I mean, whew, don't even know what to say.
I know. Rough performance to say the least. But yeah, really fun week to watch on the NFL last week. Yeah. Okay, so now it's time to enter our music segment of the episode. So Will, if you'd like to start off, what have you been listening to lately?
So, a little while back, Mike, who we've had on this podcast before, he told me that he thought I might like Coldplay because I'm a fan of
Yeah,
U2, and he thought that I would like them for similar reasons because he said that both bands have this really really epic sound to them, and I must say some of Coldplay's hit songs I have really gotten into recently. A sky full of stars I think is a just a like a great epic anthem type song. Same with Viva La Vida. Fix You is probably my favorite song of theirs. That one, just the lyrics to that song just hit different. I think that song is fantastic, and I think many people who've experienced loss in their life can resonate with that song.
yeah,
The Scientist, I think, is another great hit of theirs. So, I mean, there's some other ones too, but some of their hit songs I think are just fantastic.
yeah. I haven't really gotten really into Coldplay. I never loved their music, but I like Viva La Vida. I really like that song. It's not like you don't like Coldplay. They have some really cool songs. But that's awesome. You're getting into them. Yeah, I can kind of see how they're similar to you too. Actually, I see what Mike was saying there. But yeah, that's awesome. Anyone else?
I'll stay with them for today, and I'll save some others for maybe some future uh, music segments that we have down the line. So if you want to take it away, I would love to hear who you've been listening to
All
recently.
right. All right, so I've been listening to Thundercat a lot. Some of you might know who he is. He's a jazz funk pop artist. I'm actually seeing him live in, I don't know, 2 weeks, which will be cool. So yeah, I really like his music. He's regarded as one of the best bassists in the world, actually, which is really cool. His music is awesome. He has funny lyrics. Also, sometimes he has kind of more grounded, more serious lyrics, which is kind of what I like. Because you don't always want to listen to someone who takes himself so seriously and who's really intense. Sometimes you want to listen to lighter, more fun music, and that's really what Thundercat is. His music is awesome. He's also produced for artists like Kendrick Lamar. and Steve Lacy. He's also been featured on a bunch of songs by. He was featured on the most recent Gorillaz album. Who actually I'd actually recommend to you, Will, the band Gorillaz.
Okay.
Uh, it's a really cool concept. So Gorillaz is a fictional band, and I know that sounds weird. So, have you ever heard of the band Blur?
I don't think so, no.
All right. So Blur is kind of like a rock band. I don't know, maybe like Foo Fighters kinda. I never really got really into them. Just kind of their hits. And that lead singer of that band is Damon Albarn, who also has his own solo music. He's really talented. And then he created this fictional band, which once again sounds weird, called Gorillaz. And Gorillaz is he is all the he is the band. He makes all the music. It's just him. But he has all the music videos have characters who make up Gorillas. They're all animated characters. 2D, Murdoch, Noodle, and Russell are the names of the band. Are the fictional members of the band, and they're all over the merchandise. It's just a really cool concept, and the music is awesome. A lot of people really like him. I really enjoy him. A friend of mine actually saw him live in concert at TD Garden last year in Boston,
Cool.
which was awesome. I mean, yeah. So yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of Gorillaz, and I think you would enjoy them too. They make kind of pop rock music. Their more recent stuff might be geared a little bit more towards you, but I really like their album Dare. And The Plastic Beach, which was also a fantastic album. So yeah, I'd actually recommend that to you, Will. I've also been listening to the artist Mitski a lot, which I recommended to you as well.
Yeah.
She has a new album, This Land is Inhospitable, and So Are We, which was a fantastic listen. A more mellow album from Mitski, which was really cool to see. Some epic songs on there. I really liked that. Let's see here. What else do we have? Yeah, that'll. And obviously, I've been listening to a whole lot of this artist, Frank Ocean. I
Mm.
don't know if you'd be as into him as maybe some of like Gorillaz, but I really like him. He's an R&B singer. My mom, I actually kind of got my mom into him too. She's a big fan of Frank Ocean now. Um, so yeah, if you want to check him out, all the viewers want to check Frank Ocean out, I highly recommend him. I bet you're probably already listening to him because he's pretty popular. Um, but yeah, his music, some of his songs are sadder, some of them are more upbeat. They're all kind of chill songs, and yeah, I really enjoy listening to him. Unfortunately, he hasn't come out with an album since 2016, so maybe Frank Ocean, please come out with a new album, please. All right, but that about wraps up this episode of the Everything Podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Will, thanks for joining me as always, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.